not understanding. I'm giving you a philosophical correction on a very extremely common mistake that unbelievers have. That if God knows that I will choose X, right, then I couldn't possibly choose otherwise. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an error in modal logic.
So so when I was a baby, God knew.
I've explained this to you.
Maybe let me give you one example and just try to explain that to me.
You're not. The problem isn't with me. You're not getting this. Okay.
Yeah, maybe you can. Maybe I can give you an
explain something to you. Let me explain.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
The fact that God knows the truth value of what I will freely choose. God just simply possessing it does not mean that necessarily I couldn't choose otherwise. I could choose otherwise, but I won't.
Could I ever do?
So let me give you an explanation.
I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
God knows what I will choose to eat this afternoon for lunch. Okay. I could choose otherwise. He just simply knows the truth value. Him knowing the truth value does not cause it to come to pass.
Are you saying you could do something God doesn't know you're going to do?
No. God knows the free choices that we make.
Darth Dawkins is a Molinist. I am a Calvinist, and this is the problem with Molinism.
You're uneducated on the issue of modal logic because you're thinking that you are fated to do X. You will do X, but you're not fated to do X. God simply knows innately what we will freely choose, and if we were to decide to do otherwise, He would know that.
Right. So like when I was a baby.
Know what our free choices are. I'll say it one more time. You're making an error in modal logic.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, when I was a baby, though, God knew I would join this live, correct?
Okay. Yes, God knew that you would freely choose to do that.
Could I have not joined the live and made God wrong?
That is correct, but then He would have known otherwise.
That means I have one choice, right?
You're not getting this. It's not sinking in.
I don't get it. Maybe
that means God can be wrong. That means God can be wrong.
Let me explain this to you, okay?
Sure.
You are simply ignoring the correction I'm giving to you. You've ignored it 3 times.
I'm not trying to. I'm trying to understand.
William Lane Craig is one of the world's great Christian apologists. He has a PhD in philosophy, and he has a PhD in theology. There's something
I know who he is. He's one of my favorites.
Hey, dude, I'm about to fucking kick you off the stage.
Whoa, Ephesians 4:29, buddy.
Goodbye.
Damn.
Yeah, did you see the mask come off? Did you see the mask come off? You see he starts laughing?
Damn. Darth Dawkins, come on.
This is what we call passive aggressive trolling.
Yep.
Is he doesn't give a rat's behind, excuse my French there. He doesn't care whatsoever that I've explained to him over and over again. He didn't have a formal rebuttal.
Look, guys, look, let me turn this down. Guys, I am a Calvinist, so I think that it is the biblical position when it comes on to God's knowledge that God knows what will happen because God knows what He will cause to happen. God is the ultimate first causal principle of our existence, the actualizing of our existence, and the sustainer of our existence. And because He is the one who determines when, how, and where we exist, then everything we think, say, and do is the direct result and the ultimate result of God's decision to sustain our existence. God doesn't simply sustain our existence, He controls it. So everything we do is determined by Him, and He has perfect knowledge of the future because He is the architect and author of it. That is why, if I was talking to this young man when he said, when I was born, did God know that I would be on this life? I would say yes. And the reason why he knows is because he's the one who directly and ultimately causes you to be on this life. Not that he knows what you will do, but you can do otherwise, and he still knows that you can do otherwise. No, that's a contradiction. It doesn't make any sense. That's my problem with Molinism. The grounding objection refutes Molinism because the grounding objection essentially says this: where did these factuals, truth value factuals, come from? Where did they come from? Did they originate with God or did they originate with man?
Amen. Okay.
So God decides what things that we will choose, but it's compatible with our free will. Right?
Yeah.
I don't agree with that particular explication because I'm not a Calvinist.
I disagree.
However, I can't remember what the title of the book is. I'll find out and get it later, that I started reading, where there's a very quite sophisticated philosophical explication of this. And it deals with modes of necessity and things like that. Okay? The bottom line is, this is the typical adolescent gotcha question. Well, if God knows that I will do X, then I'm a robot. I couldn't do otherwise.
Yeah, it makes no sense. They don't have children.
Yeah.
And it shows.
So I just mentioned it because the host tab, favors Calvinism, right? I do not favor Calvinism, so I'm explaining answers from both sides, right? But what we have here is, these smart-ass people like this guy. It's an adolescent question. I remember making lunch one day, and I said, wait a minute. If I choose to make a ham sandwich, okay, and God foreknows, then I couldn't choose other. And then I thought to myself, that's stupid, because God is in a completely different realm than we are. Just because God knows what I will freely choose doesn't mean that I'm a robot. I just don't understand how God can know what I will freely choose. Right?
Yeah.
I willingly gave up my unanswered question. Right?
Excellent, man.
But how can God know?
So what's going on, man? Why are you?
Does it?
No, ultimately,
He's God.
Exactly.